probably going to be like the shortest video that I've ever made in the entire duration of my life. Now let me stop playing. But I guess not even I guess. I'm coming on here to just talk about things that I've been thinking about. And how I'm incorporating change into my life. You know what I mean? In my younger years, I couldn't really get people to listen to my boundaries unless I was like going crazy or yelling at them. You know what I mean? And I didn't get anything accomplished. You know what I mean? Because if people aren't going to listen, they're just not going to listen. You know, and that's one of the biggest things that I regret when it comes down to my relationships that I've been in, because I couldn't really provide a safe space for them. It's just me projecting my insecurities into those situations. And yeah, I was young, you know. As long as you're incorporating change into your life, then the past doesn't really matter, but those memories still linger there, and that's why it's so frustrating. But then also, whenever you begin to establish boundaries with people, it can be so difficult because it's like, am I tripping? Is it that serious? Am I being over exaggerative? And it can be kind of hard to work the fact that you're not being mean. You're just saying how you feel, and you saying how you feel, there's nothing wrong with how you feel, but it feels so uncomfortable, you know? And also, I would much rather be called sensitive than to be angry and yelling. I'm tired of feeling as if I have to yell at people for them to just listen. I shouldn't have to be mad. And that's why it's been so lonely this year, you know, because even when I examined the friendships that I was in, even then I didn't put myself in situations where I was provided a safe space for myself. So it can be a little frustrating. It's definitely frustrating, y'all. We just gonna also, something else is that it can be slightly difficult for me to accept change from others because you're used to the things that they used to do or could have done and would do. You're transitioning from old to new, and I have a hard time transitioning into new circumstances. As I grow older, it becomes less difficult, but at the same time, it's still a struggle because the potential for you to jump into old habits can still happen. And even with myself, sometimes I may or may not doubt my capabilities, and I sit here and I remind myself that things could go wrong at any time. Like, I remind myself when I hang around certain people, I have to keep reminding myself so that way if something does go wrong, I don't go off. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's not that you're throwing old situations into people's faces. It's just when things happen, you're on guard. But then you have to accept the new. And with the new, that does not mean old isn't going to come into the new. Because just because you're changing habits, that person who you were is that person that you still need to be, because you wouldn't be who you are right now if you didn't experience these experiences. I hope y'all following. It's almost impossible for me to take people for how they are. I can't. For some people, it'll feel as if they're walking on glass because they're not capable of pouring energy in those manners into you. It's almost impossible for them. They never had to before. The people that they attracted were low vibrational, so you know, it's okay if you do something that's low vibrational, because it doesn't matter, because they're gonna do low vibrational too. Like, fuck it, fuck change at that point. And then for other people, it feels so easy. I've had this conversation with a couple people, and basically their responses were that, oh, I don't know them yet. And it's not a matter of knowing them, because I know people are going to have toxic tendencies. Everyone does. Everyone has their own way of dealing with certain situations, and everybody has their own triggers. But you can just see the genuine aspects in them. Y'all, ignore my cats. Completely ignore them. You could just see the genuine parts of them, and it makes everything else so much more worthwhile. But then it's one of those situations to where you have all these things to offer. So am I willing to deal with your toxic tendencies even if they're triggers for me? Something that seems so small to somebody else, something that appears to be mundane, for someone else could be so absolutely serious for me. And then when I discuss these topics to people who think that it's not serious, and they tell me that it's not that serious, or I shouldn't be tripping on it, then it's just like, fuck. At this point, what do I do? Because you have so much to offer. I don't want to lose you. But am I willing to sacrifice how I feel about certain situations in order to be in your life? Then I can't continue to go through life cutting everybody off. But then at the same time, I could. You know? These past 2 years, there's been a lot of sucking shit up. Because although certain things may hurt your feelings, what the fuck can you do? And this is why I used to be the kind of person to where I would just speak on anything, because I deserve to be heard. But at the same time, what's the point of speaking on anything when you could just walk away? Because a person like me, you don't have to tell me, you don't have to communicate to me about certain things that you don't like, because I mean, and I guess that also goes into me having anxiety. So so if I do something, I'm instantly like, oh, he could have taken it this way, oh shit, he could have taken it this way, oh shit, taken this way, you know what I mean? And I remember when, like, let's say for an example, right, I'm getting inside the car, right, and I'm like, I closed the car too hard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for closing the door too hard. This person might respond saying, oh, don't be an overthinker. This is a very small example. So let's be open-minded and try to understand what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, don't overthink. You're always overthinking. And it's not the fact that why do we try to make it seem as if overthinkers, why do we try to make it seem like it's something wrong with overthinking? It's nothing wrong with overthinking. I'm just a processor. I'm detail oriented. It's not overthinking. And yeah, sometimes when you're examining situations too hard, you can make false scenarios. Everyone does it. You know what I mean? I know everyone does it, so you're not about to play me like you don't. Now, how hard do you do it? That's what makes a difference. But we try to make it seem as if being overthinking, or yeah, we just don't say overthinking for this purpose, okay? We try to make something as if overthinking is bad. But then you don't think enough. You need to think more, because if you was thinking just a little bit more, certain situations could be so avoidable. We try to make it seem like being emotional. Oh my gosh, that's gonna make me cry. I cannot count on my hands how many times I've been told I'm just sensitive, I'm just overly emotional. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing, like, those are literally my superpowers. I don't have to learn how to practice compassion. I don't have to learn how to be generous. I don't have to learn how to care about people, how to be emotional, how to be forgiving. It depends on the circumstance. You know what I mean? I don't have to practice those things. And here we are. I was hating myself so much for being emotional and for viewing situations in manners that other people didn't view it, because they didn't think about it, because you don't think about anything, which makes me an overthinker. But the whole time, I'm just intuitive. I'm sensitive to energy, and I don't like certain behaviors. It's easier to maintain boundaries and standards with people that you don't know, because when they meet you and you come with a certain energy and you tell them what you'll accept and what you don't accept, if they do something, you could just say fuck it, whatever, goodbye, depending on what it is. I can deal with a lot of things, but certain things I can't deal with. I'm a crier. I cry. I enjoy crying. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I eat that last chip and I didn't know it was the last chip. I'm a cry. I'm a cry if I can't get what the fuck I want to eat and I have to eat something else because it's not satisfying. I'm going to cry if I see roadkill on the road. I'm going to cry if I see a dog crying on a movie or a human crying or a baby crying. I'm going to cry if someone's crying to me. And what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me, but what's wrong with it? Why am I not allowed to be emotional? Why can't I be emotional? Why is it unacceptable for me to be expressive? Why am I not allowed to speak on certain situations? Because it makes you uncomfortable? What, J. Cole? Bitch, you ain't crazy. You just scared of change. It's been so many moments between these past 2 years to where I just felt lost. I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. We outside, bitch. We are just out here. You know what I'm saying? But then when I sit back and I just take the time to realize the kind of person that I am now, I become so grateful and thankful. Because yeah, people on the outside might judge me for the things that I do, the things that I've done, or the decisions that I still make, even when it comes down to just my appearance, the way that I choose to make money, everything. Then when I sit back and I see that now I'm capable of just doing something as basic as communicating my emotions, how I feel, being able to convey the thoughts that are going through my head, which was impossible a couple years ago because I wasn't comfortable with how I view situations and the boundaries that I tried to work into my life. I felt ashamed for allowing situations to get to me when they didn't get to everybody else. You know, I'm standing in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm tired of being the only one who cares in situations. I'm tired of feeling as if I'm the only one who's genuinely trying to work towards something in relationships. You know what I mean? And this isn't just boyfriends or friends or family. This is just overall everything. Like, I feel as if I'm an actual oddball. Oh, y'all. And I've always felt like I was an oddball. And now I'm comfortable feeling like an oddball. Now I want to look like an oddball too. I don't just want to feel like an oddball. I want to look like an oddball. I want people to look at me and to know this girl is not like everybody else. So I can't even approach her the same way I want to approach everybody else. You know what I mean? Actually, I don't even know how to approach her. Like, is she gonna bite me? Bitch, I just might bite you. Fuck around, find out. I bite back. When they tell you to control your emotions, that does not mean to not think about your emotions. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I feel like somebody needs to hear it. When they say control your emotions, that does not mean to not think about your emotions. You still gotta think about that shit. Now, how you gonna handle it? How you gonna work through those emotions? What you gonna do? You gonna panic? You gonna fold? You about to go off? You about to fight them? What are you gonna do? That's the part. You're controlling yourself throughout your thoughts. I would talk to people about situations that I've experienced, but whenever I talk about situations that have occurred in my life, the response would be something along the lines of, you need to move past it. And I feel like that's why a lot of people don't know how to change, or people don't actually change, or people take forever to change. Because when situations happen in your life, you have to keep examining the situation, even if it takes 5 fucking years from now. The question is, are you working through it? Are you taking the lessons that you need to take from it? Or did you learn something from it? Or is it just another person that just got fucked up in the bunch? Is this just another person that you just cut off? Is this another person that you just suppress the whole situation, suppress all the emotions. People's definition of moving past things is suppression. So because I'm talking about something, or I mean, whenever I talk about situations to people, I'm not the kind of person to keep talking about it. Like, if I'm dealing with a breakup, I'm not going to keep talking about it. You're just not going to know. I'm going to just be miserable on the inside. But then when I talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. But then I might bring it up years later down the line. Like, damn, I'm still experiencing emotions. And then I might bring it up again the next following year. You see what I'm saying? So it's not a repetitive, but it does have repetition, you know? So of course people are going to think like, oh my gosh, you're still hung up over it, but I'm still digesting it. I'm still, situations are so complex. Shit is not that simple. And then not to mention, the way that I view situations, it's no such thing as getting over things. You just develop coping mechanisms. Because if you got over things, you wouldn't still think about it on the inside of your head. Just because you're not talking about it, that does not mean that you're not thinking about it. And if you're not thinking about it, then you're suppressing your emotions. Motherfucker, I'm over here fucking preaching and you're not even listening. That's crazy. It's been friendships and relationships that I've been in. And shit, even this can relate to family too. And this relates to everybody, actually. Fuck it, everybody. The most randomest person. And I've been told that, oh my gosh, like, how do I say this? Like, as in saying, I'm not perfect. You know, saying, like the walking on glass that I stated earlier. As if I'm judging them. I've even been told that I think that I'm better than people. Even people who don't really know me, they still look at me like I think that I'm just perfect. And I don't think that it's perfect. But then if I'm talking to you and something serious is going on and we're trying to establish a genuine connection that includes longevity, of course I'm going to tell you about the things that bother me. Now I don't dedicate towards energy within or towards things that I know people aren't really capable of changing. But certain things you just say fuck it and don't speak on it. You can keep them in your life. You can talk about it once or twice. And if nothing happens, what the fuck can I do? I can't do shit. But, and this is a lesson that I learned. Because back then, whenever I would get into relationships, like I said earlier, I would just speak on shit. Like, I don't like this. I don't like that you're doing this. What you're doing right now is making me feel a certain kind of way. And yeah, that's not necessarily toxic, but at the same time, I want to provide a space for people to be able to change and to acknowledge their faults on their own. Because if I'm telling you about your faults, or I'm telling you about things that you do to other people that's selfish or arrogant or just whatever that you're doing, and you haven't sat back and analyzed that yourself, then not saying that hope is lost, because people go through their own chapters in their life and everything is going to be divinely perfect within their lifetime. But at the same time, what the fuck can I do? Because when it comes down to shit like this, you could have taken the time to examine it, because I've taken the time to examine mine. And this is what gets me back into the previous conversation that I was bringing up a few seconds ago. You're telling me that I think that I'm perfect, but everything that I'm telling you that I don't like, I hold myself to the same fucking standard. And I used to feel guilty about the fact that people would tell me that I think that I'm better. And I don't, but that's how you feel about me. And realistically speaking, maybe I should feel like I'm fucking better. Maybe I should. And I'm far from perfect. But I've put real time and real dedication towards the way that I think, the way that I process my emotions, and the way that I try my best to handle fucking situations. And I've done a lot of shit. A lot of shit. But one thing that I can say is that each step of the way I was consciously trying to change. Consciously putting in an effort. Consciously. You don't have to tell me my flaws. Because someone tell me something, I'm like, yeah, I know, I did do that. I really did do that. Like, shit. Exactly. You don't have to remind me. Wow, I actually needed this. Like, thanks y'all for the therapy session. One last thing, and I'm gonna let this video be because we've actually been talking for almost 30 minutes. Depression. I've always been depressed. as a kid. Um, yes, situations happen and you go through things, but let's just disregard the experiences that I have, the things that I've seen, the things that my mom's seen, the things that I've watched her see, or watch my auntie see, the things that I've watched through my auntie see. Am I making sense, guys? So yes, I've always been sad as fuck, even when shit didn't happen to me directly. Because damn, like, this is the real world. You get an actual taste of what the real world is too soon. And shit, is there even a such thing as too soon? I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't get it too soon, head ass. My family wouldn't be who they are if they didn't get it too soon too. But I will always try my best to fight the feeling of sadness. Like, oh, I shouldn't feel bad, because that factors into you're being too emotional, you're being too sensitive, you're being too this. I wasn't taught how to tap into my emotional parts of myself. I had to teach myself along the way and figure the shit out. But in those moments when I felt as if something was just wrong with me and that I just needed to change, I needed to be like everybody else, I needed to be easily digested, I needed for people to swallow me easily. In those moments, I would tell myself that I shouldn't be depressed, or fuck depression, or fuck this and fuck that. Like, oh, fuck life, fight sadness, suppress the emotion, don't think about it, you're being too emotional. In those moments, I was really fucking sad, because now I'm questioning myself and the way that I process emotions, the way that I feel. Why do you feel this way? Now, and it just clicked in my head just a couple days ago, actually. It's okay for me to marinate in it. Just get up and brush your teeth, please, and get in the shower. If you're sad for 90 fucking days, be sad. If you've been sad for all this time, be sad. Be fucking sad. And what are you gonna do next? If you're gonna keep doing certain things, remain conscious. Keep thinking about it. And the goal is to not beat yourself down. The goal is to accept yourself at every state in your life and to work through it. You just have to let things be. And that's really what it boiled down to. You have to allow things to just be. With you, with people, with life, with jobs, with chapters. Ride it. Literally, just ride the wave. Ride the wave. Just continue to ride the wave. This video is just a friendly reminder for you to take up space in the way that you know how to take up space. Don't allow other people to tell you how you should take up space. Don't let people tell you that you're too this or you too that, or you're too much, you're too loud, you're too this. You know, be whoever the fuck you want to be. Because when you go home, those people who told you who the fuck you can't be, they can't be it for you. You still have to be it regardless. Thanks for talking to me. This was great. I hope to see you again.